Hello, and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor. This week, we are finally covering the finale of Survivor Season 48.
It's been a long time coming.
Long time coming. I've been waiting for this one. And I'm so excited to get into it and to sort of wrap this season up. Put a little bow on it. But before we get into that, Riley, I have to ask, how are you?
Before I begin, I have to. I am a winner, baby. I am a winner, Kyle. I was there day one. Nobody believed in you. Pre-day one, nobody believed in you. Everybody said, there's no way this guy's going to win. There's no way he's going to win. He's playing a terrible game, and he seems like a terrible person. I never said that. I never once said that.
I'm sure so many people said that.
I fear so many people did. Kyle, my winner pick. My day zero winner pick. I knew nothing about you. I read your little blurb, and I just knew.
Saw your little picture.
I saw your little picture, and I said, oh, this man is meant to win Survivor 48. And I did it.
You did it. You did it, Riley.
I did it.
You did it.
I did it. No, Kyle, and I don't know if you know this. We don't really know each other. It's chill. I've had a terrible last 13 weeks. So I really do think the universe has put all of the energy of positive things that have meant to be happening to me personally to you winning this game. I think the universe knew how to get it working. They put everything, honestly, this year, a year ago when you were out recording, filming this season, the universe said, I'm about to change your life because this one specific person is going to pick you as your winner pick. I'm going to put all of the positive things that are meant to be happening to me to you. And Kyle, I'm glad that I could have been that person for you. You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Are you going to follow this up by asking for a cut of that Millie?
I mean, if he's willing, I'll take it. I'll give you my Venmo. And our people will connect. I'll get my people to talk to your people, and we'll make it work. But no, so excited Kyle won. Yes, Kyle was my winner pick, and he did win. So I'm going. That happened last night, and I said, anything that bad happened to me in the last 24 hours just seems to have gone away.
It really and then this. Yeah, it's not really affecting you at all at this point.
Right, and then I sort of woke up this morning and sort of remembered everything, and it kind of, worked itself out. But good job, Kyle. Amazing job, Kyle. How am I doing? Well, spoiler, you might not be able to tell. I'm doing amazing. A lot of good things happening. Personally to me, specifically in the last 24 hours, really great time. I want to talk, I did said this last week, I do think that this is becoming sort of a media recommendation part of the podcast, just because I've just been consuming a lot of media as of recent, and it's just been the things that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about this new Amazon Prime show, Overcompensating. Have you seen it? I've not
heard of it.
New show dropped last week. Is it good? The jury is still out. I think it is camp. And here's what I'll say. The synopsis is it's supposed to be a reflection of the 2010s sort of college experience from the perspective of a gay man who is trying to be perceived as straight by everybody he knows. Like, he is hiding his gay identity. And so him coming to college, he's sort of figuring that out about himself. It's really cringy. As somebody who was gay in college, it really, I just had there were a lot of moments in the show that I watched and I said, oh, wow. Ooh, I said, ooh. Like, I felt it in my heart. I had to pause the show and I went, ooh, this is too much. I started I was like, ooh, damn. Ooh, damn. Specific highlight moments when there's a shot where he has to dab somebody up, and there's nothing more scary as a gay man having to dab up a straight man, and you're left there like, what the fuck am I supposed to, it's like, it's the slow motion when the hand's coming and you're like, oh my god. Yeah. The awkwardness of that. A really funny moment, a bunch of straight men were rapping around him. They were singing like a G6, and he didn't know any of the words. And he said, they were a little drunk, and he was like, play super bass. And then he started rapping super bass, and the room went silent, and I said, oh, god. I said, oh my god. I'm like sweating thinking about it. It's a camp show. I wouldn't recommend it if you're looking for award-winning television. But if you're looking for just a funny little show, it's like 8 episodes. I binged it all in one day on Sunday. So I'd recommend watching it. My favorite character, Haley, is the roommate of one of the main characters. And in the first episode, she has this quote. She says, pisses me off. And I've been saying that, yesterday, spoiler alert, I was on the side of the freeway for a couple hours yesterday. And I opened my door into the freeway. I went, pisses me off. It's too good. It's a good vocal stem. Pisses me off. I love it. So highly recommend that show. I mean, I don't know if I highly recommend it, but if you're looking for a silly show, watch it. They left on a cliffhanger, though. That's, I guess, spoiler. The season ends on a cliffhanger, which is so sad because I don't even know if the show knows if it's getting a season 2 or not. So I'll be pissed off if it doesn't get a season 2. But, yeah, just go look at that with your eyes, form your own opinions. And I think that's how I'm doing it. Drag Race is airing right now, and I have to share another quote that I've been saying just because I need to put it out into the universe. Sister, I'm pickled.
Sister, I'm pickled.
Oh, you're familiar.
No, but I love that.
It's Sister, I'm pickled. What season of Drag Race are you currently watching?
All-Star 6.
So you haven't got to season 14 yet. There's this queen named Georges, and there's a bunch of, I'm not going to go into the whole lore, but she has a quote that has entered the lexicon. Sister, I'm pickled. Sister, I'm pickled. It's just too good. And I think it's even funnier saying it without any context.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the tea. Wow. I've been enjoying a lot of gay media. You know, it's almost Pride. Be who you are.
Should we drop some just awful Pride merch?
Yes. Oh my god, can we change our logo to a Pride logo?
You get on that.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
Should we, for the episodes that we're going to be releasing throughout June, which we can talk about.
Should we talk about after you do your before we get into the episode? Okay.
Yes. But should we, for the episodes of June, the thumbnails also make them like Pride themed?
Yes, we can make Pride themed. Yes.
And Pride's gonna end, and we're never gonna talk about it again.
No.
Why
would we?
That was last month,
girl.
Right.
Maddie, while we're sitting here contemplating what we just said, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, so good. Before I get into what I want to talk about, I have to jump off the TV show thing. In another, questionably mid show that, just got renewed for season 2 that I watched this week, it has a lot of similarity. It's actually in no way similar to what you were talking about, the content of the show, but similar things. Ended on a cliffhanger. It just got a season 2, and it also has 8 episodes. It's called The Four Seasons. It's on Netflix.
I've heard good things about this show.
Okay.
Maybe I've not heard good things. Maybe I've just heard things.
Right. What a show that just, I'm not, confused by, but, it could be so good. So, I don't remember all of the main characters, or the main actors in it, but I'm obviously familiar with Tina Fey and Will
Coleman
Forte.
Domingo's in it.
Yes. Oh, and Steve Carell is in it. And then there's a couple other people as well that I don't remember their names. But it basically is it sounds like it would be about a White Lotus sort of thing, 4 seasons, but it's the 4 seasons in a year. And in each season, it's a bunch of couples, they get together and meet up. Sometimes it's a trip, sometimes it's whatever. And it's good, ? But so I don't know, there's something off about it. They know that they're all such good actors that it's almost feels weird and it doesn't feel natural. And that might just be partially because these are such famous people that I know from other things, so watching them in something else is weird. But
so
I don't know.
Seeing all of them together, you're What are y'all doing in this one place together?
And it's like, the acting is just like a little bit much. I don't really know. I love the concept though, and I will I will watch season 2 when that airs. But anyways, it's on Netflix if you're interested in. It's pretty quick to get through. The episodes are only like 25 minutes, and like it's fun. It definitely moves fast, and it's fun to see where they go each season and sort of the things that come up. But that is that sort of possible recommendation if you're interested. I did kind of enjoy it, I guess. But what I wanted to talk about this week is, I got to go to the Sierra Farrell concert finally.
Oh my god, I didn't even ask you about that. I forgot.
It was so good. I honestly, like, one of my favorite concert experiences I've ever had. Like, it was just so much fun. I went with my friend Maria, shout out, and just
friend of the pod.
I think she's like watched before.
Love
I
it.
don't know. I don't think she's she's on a series regular.
We'll get her on next episode.
Right. But basically it was just so fun. It was a smaller venue, a very popular one around these parts. And it was just great. Like, it was fun. It's general admission for the most part. And so, like, kind of planning on when to get there. We ended up getting the best spots. Not in the pit, but like on the sort of railing area. So we had a spot to lean on. It was so nice. That. And I just cannot speak highly enough about Sierra Farrell. She is probably my favorite artist of the times right now. Every single song of hers is so good. She's just stunning. Her outfits are always incredible. Her stage was beautiful. Her backup singers or like musicians were amazing. She's a great musician. It was just start to finish probably the most fun I've had at a concert in a while, and that is coming off the heels of an unfortunate concert a few months ago, which was still fun, different way. This was just a pure, like, I enjoyed it so much. And I have to talk about the opening act, the Broody brothers. I was only a little bit familiar with them before this concert. They have a song, their most recent song has like kind of blown up on TikTok. It's called More Cowboy Than You. And so that has really picked up a lot of attention, but all of their music is so good. They, like, incredible musicians for one, but then two, the like lead singer's voice, like, angelic. I don't know if I've ever heard someone sing this good live before. This man's voice is just beyond amazing. And also he whistles a lot. Oh. He fully can, like, does bird, like, whistles, like, beautiful songbird whistling. And I was like, oh, you're incredible. But I just would recommend that anyone go check them out. I feel like have even better songs than More Cowboy Than You in their discography, if you will. And if you ever get the chance to see them in person, I cannot recommend them enough. But it was so good. Honestly, one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to. I would go see them a million times over. And I get to see Sierra at Lollapalooza again this summer. So I'm just stoked for that. But I think maybe I'm not even more excited about this episode of Survivor. But I'm excited to talk about what we're going to do next.
Right. For those who we're having a lot of influx of new people. Welcome.
Yes.
This season, you know, through all the negatives, I feel like we've gotten a few consistent viewers, which is great. Welcome to the fan base. We last summer between 46 and 47 did off-season coverage of Survivor China. That was our sort of recap review last year. Mm-hmm. This year we decided, hey, we did it once, let's do it again.
Also, it's a nice little palate cleanser.
It is a nice little palate cleanser. We were like, what's a good, like, 10 out of 10 season Survivor, sort of universally loved, that a lot of people can get behind. We are doing Survivor Heroes versus Villains. Woo! We're going to cover it weekly. So if people want to follow along as we're doing our rewatch, Maddie and I have both already seen this season. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple of years for me.
I don't even remember the last time I watched it.
I watched it probably like 2019, 2020, like definitely pre-pandemic was the last time I watched this season. So it'll be really exciting to come back. But Heroes vs. Villains never really loses. It's always in the community. Everybody's always talking about this season. So
Yeah.
even if I haven't like watched it, I've talked about it. You know what I mean? Like it's always there. So
Yes.
we're excited to go back, put our own eyes on it, put our own opinions about it. Maybe we'll have a guest or two on the pod. We'll have to see.
Yes.
We'll have to see how that works out. But super exciting stuff. So this week, obviously, you guys are seeing our finale and reunion recap, which is the episode right now. Next week, spoiler alert to all those if you haven't seen it on social media. 6 days from today, the season 50 cast is being announced. Probably as they're going out to film. They're leaving to film right around now, so exciting. So the next episode we're gonna do a sort of season 50 cast overview, talk about the cast members. We'll do a little bit of a review of season 49 season 48 going into season 50, whatever. And then the following week we'll jump straight into Survivor season 20
Yeah.
coverage.
I'm so excited.
Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. It'll be a fun summer, I think.
I cannot express how much fun I had last summer covering China.
I will recommend, if you are new to the pod and you're like, let me go back and watch a season. I've loved our Survivor China coverage. We both had a really good time rewatching that season. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for something, maybe go back and rewatch our Survivor China coverage.
It's just like an extra layer of silly goofy from us, I feel like, because it's not like a live season.
Right. Like we already kind of know the outcome.
Yes. And like the nostalgia, it's so fun.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
So what Survivor Heroes vs. Villains moment are you excited for us to talk about? There's a ton to go over, so maybe we can hop on the train and see what y'all are looking forward to. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I can't wait.
But I guess now we have to get into the episode.
Now we have to get into the episode. Okay. Should we talk about the spoiler drama ahead of time?
Yeah, I think we should.
Because this first hour was just like not only was this another episode of This Could Have Been an Email, but I think having the drama or like the spoiler sort of be exactly what happened was just so frustrating. So like, I don't even know what day this came out, but the promo for this finale episode, they basically leaked that Mitch was going to be the fifth out and that Camilla won immunity.
I saw Camilla's immunity. I saw the still with her necklace. I did not know who was voted out. I did a pretty good job of avoiding that, but you can kind of piece things together. There's only 5 people left. Yeah,
there was literally a clip of them the jury walking in, and right behind Shaheen was our guy Mitch. So
I think that shows Survivor production said IDGAF. They really, like, I don't know why Jeff is really trying to push this narrative that this season was a season of all seasons, and I'm like, your production team doesn't even care.
No.
Like, it's not really doing a good job of rewriting the narrative, if I'm being honest.
No, not at all. So that was just, like, frustrating going into this, and I just wanted to talk about it at the top before I forget. But let's just get into this first part. So we open on Jeff telling us that this theme of the season is emotions and that blood will be spilled tonight. Right. We then have sort of like the recent episode recap and all of that, and we finally have the final 5 coming back to camp after the Shaheen vote, and Kyle is happy to have won this game of chicken between him and Shaheen, and is so glad that him and Camilla pulled off another stunning acting moment together, and he still has a good relationship with Eva and Joe. Joe is talking to Eva about how he's happy to trust Kyle, but he's also still a little bit cautious about everything that went down and, potentially having been duped. And Kyle and Camilla talk, and she's like, bro, Joe should have fact checked. because that's crazy. We got away with that lie. And I'm glad she said that because that's what I was talking about last episode of like,
Right.
that's crazy. He did not just like actually ask. Right.
Do ask, do tell.
Right. And she says in her confessional that she can't believe she's pulling off all of these lies and that she deserves an Emmy. And she hopes that she will get to own up to all of these lies at Final Tribal Council.
What we could have dreamed of, if only.
If only. But no, she does deserve an Emmy for all these.
She does.
This acting she's done.
I mean, not to jump all the way to the end of the episode, but Jeff is like, you gave one of the best acting performances I've ever seen on the show.
Start to finish.
Right.
Yeah, like she basically did have to act the entire time.
Yeah.
Like there was really not like a full truthful moment from Camilla for 26 days. That would be rough. But
you think at some point it gets easy, or do you think it just progressively gets harder?
I think...
Because if you start from day 0 lying, then really, like... But it's just like you have to remember all your lies, you know what I mean?
I think that would be hard, and then I think maybe at some point I would have some sort of paranoia where I'm like, just so over it.
Right.
Or I'm like, I just want to be truthful. But it couldn't be me. Anyways, after the intro song, the next morning they are back on that log, and eventually they walk up to this little setup where tree mail is, and they're surprised to see a stool with each of their names on it and a little puzzle lock that they have to solve. And basically they have to run around the forest looking for little symbols that basically will give them the clues to solve this.
This show says, we buy all of the land for the forest, you're going to use it. You are going to run.
Run. Yeah, and so as they're running around, they discover that the symbols have been updated, and now they have little dots on them that, you know, correlate to letters of the alphabet. And they're all sort of rushing around camp, finding the symbols and dots. And I thought it was really funny how Kyle was doing a really good job of like taking advantage of everyone just being frazzled and was straight up asking them for answers to things. And he was getting the answers. People were giving them. But in the end, Eva gets the advantage, which we'll see what it is at the immunity challenge.
Crickets. Said, oh, great. Eva won another advantage.
Yeah.
That isn't even going to matter at the end of the day because you don't know how to use it. Like, I don't... Like, I know Survivor Production was pissed. P the M-O, bitch. Because they literally were like, how did every single thing we put in this game fall flat this season? Yeah. They want to push advantages so bad. And then it just falls through every single time.
Which... Honestly, I guess maybe this is the season where I'm happy that happened, and I hope we have maybe a different narrative on advantages from Survivor Production in the future.
Right.
But let's get to this first immunity challenge. Basically, they have to climb... It's kind of long. Climb over a ramp, crawl through a muddy, twisted net, throw a ball into a hoop thing, push the ball and some sandbags through a cage, throw the ball into another sort of thing to unlock... to get some numbers to unlock a thing to give you a key. And then they have to take that to unlock pieces to solve a big flame puzzle.
You know, as you do.
Right, like...
When they say classic Survivor challenges, this is what I'm talking about. This, I say, you know what, let me do the 9-step challenge. Ooh, this is what I've been dying to do.
Oh, right. Like, I just cannot get enough of this on my screen.
This is my life dream.
Yeah. And reward is pasta and chocolate cake at the sanctuary, where good things happen. Where good things happen sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not all season. I so fully thought that, like, there was going to be something cool at the sanctuary at the end of this season.
Well, it's not. The problem is that we built it up for ourselves. We really, I feel like you and I were the only two that were really like, what is going on with the sanctuary? What's going on with the sanctuary? Just for it to be like,
no, because what was going on with the sanctuary?
They were painting the walls white. That's what they were doing. Like, I don't. They were redoing the roof.
Yeah, right. That they don't even. I can't. Okay. Eva's advantage that she won lets her not have to throw the ball into the basket at the middle portion of the challenge. Really, maybe the dumbest part, because it seemed like most people sort of got that like first or second try.
I think like Kyle, or Mitch, Camilla, Joe, they all got it within their first or second throw. So.
Yeah, they all did. So kind of, whatever. I can't be too mad about it. But basically, Joe has a nice lead for a lot of the challenge, but then, and Camilla was in absolute dead last for a long time.
Stuck in that rope. Ooh.
Stuck in that rope, me too. That looks like the worst part.
When always one of my favorite flashbacks is when Carolyn gets stuck and Carson is sick and he's like, "Go Carolyn,
go Carolyn,
Carolyn, you can do it."
Oh, rip that duo, I guess.
Oh.
Anyways, and everyone catches up to Joe at this puzzle, the great equalizer of the whole thing, and Camilla wins.
Pulls it literally out of nowhere.
Literally out of nowhere.
Like, that's queen. Like, that's mother. Like, you can only use so many words to describe her because she's her own level. Like, nobody's reached the level that she's reached.
Exactly. And I'm just so happy for her. And you know what? Guess what? At this point, she will not be voted out of this game.
Which is wild.
I'm so happy for her.
I always forget about the Final Four fire making. I think I just suppress it in the back of my mind because I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I forget that they don't vote at the Final Four.
Yeah. It's just such like a...
Imagine the drama, though. Like, imagine Kyle having to backstab Camilla had it been, like, a vote.
And that's the thing is, like, I feel like fire making is such a cop-out for them having to actually, like, make a decision on things.
Right.
Because, yeah, imagine him having to turn on his ally like that.
His number one ally on day 25 of 26. Yeah. Look at her and go, Camilla, I'm sorry, baby, but...
It's you.
It's you!
Says, now... You wonder how I feel. We'll get there. But, yeah. And then she gets to pick one person to take on the reward. And this is where...
Camilla, you lose me a little bit. This is where you lose me a little bit.
Yes, I'm sort of losing the fantasy. She picks Eva again.
I want to know what the extent of their relationship is. And she was like, she's hungry. She's been talking about pasta. I have to pick her, Eva. You have to pick her.
She's hungry?
Girl, if it were me, Mitch is going home tonight. Take Mitch.
Take Mitch. Yes. Because also, like, if you take Mitch and then let's say you were sitting in the end, I feel like that's such a good, like, jury management moment for the person that you know is going to the jury.
Right.
Yeah.
Eva, I want to know the spell that you casted over all of these people to get picked for basically every single reward.
Yeah.
Minus what? 1 or 2?
Yeah, literally.
I want what she's having.
Yeah. So after this, the boys get back to camp after the challenge and are making fun of how they each look all covered in mud. And they decide to take a little dip in the ocean.
A dip in the pool.
A trip to the spa. Mitch decides that he wants to band together with Kyle and Camilla to take out Joe tonight while Joe is vulnerable with no immunity because he knows that Eva's going to play her idol. And Kyle says that though, Joe is a threat, but also, in a way, Mitch is a threat too. So really, he's got to weigh his options.
Right.
Right.
Mitch is a threat. No, like he is. No, yeah, Maddie, like he is. No, he is a threat. Like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. He's a threat.
Did he threaten you?
I felt threatened, yes.
I felt threatened, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, maybe Kyle sees things that we don't see.
Hey, that's my winner pick. I can't be too mad.
Hey, yeah, in the end, it doesn't really matter. So, at the reward, the girls are chowing down on their pasta, covered in mud and all. I still do not understand why they don't get to, like, wash off in the ocean, but whatever.
Maddie, that's too...
Sorry, am I asking for too much?
You're not looking at the big picture, babe.
Oh, okay.
I'm not looking at the big picture.
Oh, like maybe the benefits of like a mud mask.
Right. Now you're thinking.
They said, I'm going to walk up this beach with the most glowy skin. So Eva says that she's excited for Tribal because not only does she have her idol, so she's guaranteed to see another day, she also just can't wait to get rid of Mitch. I'd love to know what Mitch did to Eva to make her this excited.
I'd like to know what everybody did to Eva. Like, she seems to have very hard lines in this game.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get rid of Mitch. Girl.
Kyle and Joe are in. Everyone else.
Literally,
out.
what has Mitch done to you?
No.
I'm sorry, but I have to stand up for what's right.
Right. But you do feel threatened by Mitch.
Well, yes, but
Yes,
two things
but.
can be true at once.
Okay. So Camilla in her confessional is thinking about which direction to go tonight and says that even though she's nervous about how the votes will fall if her and Kyle are in the final 3, she would rather that really both be there than neither of them be there, so it's got to be Mitch. So there is another person in the equation on this beach. But sure.
Maddie, again, not looking at the big picture. Like, you don't get it.
I don't get it. So then we get back, they come back to the beach. And Camilla then, this is where, we just sort of see the end of Mitch. To Mitch's face, Camilla's like, yeah, bro, I don't want to sit next to you in the end.
They love calling each other bro. There's a lot of bro, dude stuff going on within this Final 5.
A lot of bro stuff going on.
Of bro stuff.
And so basically, yeah, she tells Mitch, hey, I'm voting for you tonight. And that's just sort of how it's going to be. And then Mitch starts talking to all the others on the beach, and they're like, yeah, everyone likes you, so it's got to be you tonight.
Like, I'm at my wit's end with the season. I'm so glad it is over. Mitch, stand the fuck up. I need you to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Why are you just taking it?
Exactly. Because then Mitch and Kyle are sitting on this log laughing about how he's getting voted out for being too nice.
Mitch.
Mitch.
Mitch, get up. Stand up. Do something.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. We are at the final 5 of Survivor. You are 2 votes away from being in the finale. If you don't get up and work, nobody wants to work these days. Nobody wants to work these days. Why are we just letting Mitch go home to go home? Mitch.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Why are we this entire season letting this majority alliance tell people you're going home tonight? Nothing you can do about it. And they're like, you know what?
You're
See
right.
ya.
Nothing I can do. Huh? You're not gonna fight back at all. I'm sure, and you know what? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he did. But also, I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because Survivor production, I just feel like proved that nothing happened.
Yeah.
The way you said this, it could have been an email. I'm like, why? Girl, like,
period.
Why? Period. I don't.
Why? Not question mark. Why? Period.
Period. I'm like, get off of my TV right now. You're pissing me off. You are pissing me off.
Well,
it pisses me off.
I lost my mind when also on this log, he's like, man, I should have made a move.
Oh,
really?
I'm going to pull my hair out. I am going to pull my hair out. The most insufferable person I've ever... Mitch, I'm sure you're nice. You're a teacher. It takes a special type of person to be a teacher. I am sure you are an amazing person. You are a mailman. Mailmen are nice. On this game, on Survivor 48, on my TV, one of the most insufferable people I've ever seen. I'm so sorry. Get out of my face. You should have made a move 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, at least.
Maddie, you know when the best time in Survivor to make a move is? The best time. You might be wondering.
When?
The Final 5.
Final 5, yes.
Final 5 when the game is wrapping up, everybody's closing shop for the night. Like you're done. I'm clocked out.
Not that many people you can even vote for at this point.
The store closed an hour ago. We're doing the cleanup service right now. We are sweeping, we're mopping, we're putting things away. Like,
yes.
Baby, it wrapped up 2 votes ago. If you didn't get your shit in gear by then, at this point, it means nothing.
No.
It is very rare. I feel like sometimes, and it happens. And okay, you're right. Sometimes huge moves happen at the final five. Back all the way this season, one of the most amazing things, I can't remember what the joke was, but San Juan del Sur final five when Natalie plays that idol on Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Better than the live finale, or better than the reunion episode or whatever. Like, it happens sometimes, but I'm like, Mitch, you have no... you don't need a mirror ball to have realized in the future at the final seven that you were going to be screwed at the final five. Like, you don't need a fortune teller to know that that's what was going to happen.
We could have told him that even long before that.
Maybe I looked at the beginning of the season. I should have said, Mitch, I'm just telling you now, in 25 days, you're going to have to make it, something's going to, choose yourself.
Something and sort of nothing is going to happen at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. So then we go to Tribal, and it's Mitch, no question. We literally get some nice shots of them walking to Tribal. Mitch just marching on to his own death. Literally at peace with it.
Like, at least, and maybe it's just I'm a bad person, leave bitter.
Yeah.
Like, if you know nothing's going to happen, at least leave bitter and make it known to the Final Four that I will not let this stand. I will not let you voting me out 4-1 at the Final Five go without vein. Like, you thought you were going to get away with this by talking to me? No. You were trying to jury manage me by talking to me, making me feel better. I don't feel better. Fun fact, I feel worse.
Right. And literally as they're at Tribal talking about how everyone was open and direct all day with Mitch, telling him he's going home. It pans to the jury, blank faces.
I have to give the jury their tens this episode. They really did eat. If I was Shaheen, if I was David, if I was... Who else? I can't think of the top of my head. But, like... Oh, now you want to play the truth card. Oh, now we're the people you were actually working with. Like, we had an alliance. We were in your alliance. But you want to be truthful to the people that already knew they were going home. That is the coward's way out, in my opinion.
Exactly, because then Mitch's sort of last words are that, you know, he is disappointed because he felt like he was in a good place with Kyle and Camilla. And
why would you think that?
But he also gets it, and they need to do what's best for their game, so no hard feelings.
Have hard feelings! You just lost $1 million! You gave up $1 million. You let them vote your ass out. You had no pushback whatsoever. Have hard feelings.
You had a 1 in 5 chance of winning.
A 1 in 5 chance. Like, are you kidding me? Girl, I need bitter boots. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just a bad person, but I would be bitter.
Yeah, this is why I think I wouldn't do well, maybe, on Survivor in the new era, because I'm not built for this. Patience, I don't have patience for this.
I'd be at that jury question and say, frankly, I don't want to vote for any of you.
Yeah. Frankly, I'm actually just not feeling this sort of cast at all.
Call me a Gen Z in the American public. I'm not going to vote. I'm choosing not to vote.
No, so real. Actually, can I vote for myself?
Actually, you know what? Fuck it.
Put Mickey Mouse down on the parchment paper. So yeah, and basically it is Mitch. Mitch votes for Kyle. And guys,
which was Shady Boots. That was Shady Boots.
Yeah. I am just like so glad that we spent an hour watching this unfold. Like, I couldn't think of a better use of my hour.
Oh, and think about how I felt after I got home. After my day yesterday. Ooh, think about that.
Oh yeah, and Eva also plays Stars Idol.
Okay, and I have to say, and we have another pan to the jury, no reaction.
No reaction.
Light work, no reaction. Eva, no reaction. I just was like, why do I feel like this is about to hurt her?
The way she stood up and was so excited to play it too, I'm like...
Crickets.
Oh my god. When I was watching this play out, though, I was like, you know what would have been so fun if instead they had put all... Okay, so you know Mitch is who Eva's gonna vote for. You all the rest of you vote for Eva, hoping that she's not gonna play her idol and gonna want to take it as a souvenir, and then Eva goes home in a shocking twist. That's what I want.
I just... Again... Eva, I'm sure you're a great person. You're doing things I literally could never do. And I'm going to give you your 10s there. You are it seem to be an amazing person in real life. But on this TV show, I'm so sorry. I have to say that I just have a bad taste in my mouth. And that is always, in my opinion, on things that you do is going to have a negative effect. Like, I'm always just going to have a negative thing to say because at this point,
yeah,
I'm like, I can't.
I hear the name Eva now. Triggered.
Right. Again, and I'm sure you're a great lady. I'm sure you're nice. You seem like a very nice person, a lovely person. Everybody seems to love you. So kind.
Yeah.
But as a Survivor player, I was left wanting a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Definitely. Well, that night, they get back to camp and are celebrating. And Kyle, in his confessional, is like, wow, 2 duos left in the game. 1 secret one and 1 public one. How crazy. How crazy. The next morning, obviously, Eva and Joe want to win this challenge so they can both sit in the final 3. And they're both like, yeah, I think, we have a good chance of winning this. We're pretty good at challenges. And Eva says that she thinks she has a good chance at winning, even sitting next to Joe. So, no nerves there. And then...
She kind of ate that.
Yeah, sure. Kyle and Camilla are then talking, and Camilla tells Kyle that she's realized that there's really no way they can sit next to each other at Final 3 and still have a chance of winning with how the votes would likely be split. And that if she wins immunity, she would put Joe and Kyle in fire against each other. And Kyle's like, yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Which I think is smart. It hurts me to hear from Camilla because if Kyle was already thinking about it, then even if Camilla had not said it, then it still would have happened,
Yeah.
But to jump to the reunion knowing how close she was, had she sat next to any 3 of them, it would have been a sweep.
This is not the first time that she's sort of giving Kyle permission to vote her out this season. But especially this time, I'm like, I think this conversation... it's sort of a if I win situation, we'll have it then.
Right.
But I think giving him that permission when he is very clearly, at least to the audience, in a very vulnerable emotional state, I don't know if she hadn't opened up this sort of box.
Dialogue.
Then I think that the rest of the day after him winning would have been a different conversation. And I think that there might have been, I think he might have felt, tied enough to her to maybe bring her to the end. I think there's a really good chance of that. I don't know.
I think that's a good point. He has, within the last couple episodes, he's gotten very emotionally attached to the people in this game.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that. I think his emotions probably could have been played with, but I don't know if Camilla is necessarily we see that she's lied, but she's not really an emotional manipulator, you know what I mean? There are some Survivor players that will play on your emotions.
Yeah.
Camilla hasn't really done that, but I do get what you're saying. I think it would have been better had she waited and felt it out, because I think she could have talked her way into that.
And I don't even think it needed to be emotional manipulation. I think he would have had a hard time coming to that conclusion. And then in their conversation, if she, I feel just fought for herself in that, I can see a world in which he brought Camilla to the end after all of this, especially all of these loyalty sort of narratives that we've had from him and others throughout the season. But whatever. We get to this final immunity challenge, and it's a classic Simotion. Which I will never see this and not think of Romeo in that moment.
That is just so iconic. I'm sorry. We bring it up every finale. I feel like every finale coverage we talk about how we witnessed live together Romeo winning that final immunity challenge and how life-changing it was.
It truly is ingrained in my memory. I will never forget that moment. I will never forget my emotions in that moment. And just no matter what, this was not going to be the same for me. We just don't really have a Romeo character in this.
Right.
But, so shout out to Romeo.
I hear he wins Survivor 50.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. Hey, that's what I'm hearing.
He says, I've just got to get to the end, do that one challenge, please. And so walking up, Kyle is excited, but Camilla is scared and wishing that there was a puzzle. But I'm like, lock in, queen, lock in. And basically, if you are not familiar with this challenge, they just sort of have to put balls into a track thing and keep track of them to keep them from dropping and re-putting them up top and letting them drop down. Whatever. basically, Eva drops first, Camilla second, unfortunately, but Joe drops last, so Kyle wins.
They do last for a little bit.
They
all of
do,
them.
yeah.
But yeah, Kyle wins. Great. I feel like a big part of this emotion is Jeff talking
Yeah.
to try to mess them up. And I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, let me do what I need to do, please.
Yeah, like, let me focus. I've heard it, be like, Jeff, I've heard enough of you this past almost month. Can I just have a
Right.
second?
Right.
Please?
Let me focus. Let me lock in.
Right. So now Kyle has won, and he gets to, make this decision of who to send to fire. And Kyle has decided that based on his previous conversations with Joe, where he sort of promised, or didn't promise, but was like, hey, you know what, I want to take you to the end if I get it. He decides to hold up that promise and tells Joe about this. And he says that in his confessional, too. Not only does he want to take Joe and not have to, like, go back on his word, but he also doesn't want Joe having a chance at fire and then having that, like, extra little thing going for him if he were to make it to the end.
Now, can I counter you at this point here, Kyle? I was thinking, because I just was like, I don't like this decision. Mm-hmm. As somebody who wants Kyle to win, I was like, I don't like it. And now I thought, how could you work around this? Well, imagine this. Now, stay with me for just 1 second. Kyle has already been lying this game. One of his biggest lies was like already against Joe, like a vote ago, 2 days ago. It was already like a huge lie. So like lying to Joe is not something you haven't done already.
Yeah.
So now imagine this. Imagine they're all sitting there and he ends up taking Eva to the end.
I was thinking this.
Instead of Joe. And Joe had not practiced. Puts Joe in the fire. Which now, if you take out Joe and Camilla makes it to the end in the fire making, you're boosting up your game against Camilla because you did this huge move against Joe. If he's on the jury, he's already going to vote for Eva, so you're not losing a jury vote. Like, if Joe's on the jury, he's going to vote for Eva. It doesn't matter who you're next to, right? So either way, you're not losing a jury vote if Joe ends up on the jury. He's just slightly bitter at you. But hey, he's only bitter there for like 12 hours before you're back at tribal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And if Joe ends up winning it, then Joe and Eva are going to be fighting for the same votes anyway. So It's not like you're fighting for Joe's votes.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a fun move.
Yeah, just a little excitement.
Just a little.
Sorry,
this was about an hour and a half in. I was really just wanting something to spice the episode up. I was like, oh my god, imagine if this happened.
I like.
You know what's bad when I start planning a strategic move? I'm like, ooh, wait, but if this went to this and this, ooh.
I like how at 2 separate points this episode, you and I have both come up with like this fantasy sort of scenario that they could have done. Because
it's wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. So then Kyle tells Eva about this decision, and she's sad, but also understands. And I think he even tells Eva, he's like, hey, I want you to win. I want you to win this. I want you to pull through.
Work, Evalicious Eva, yes.
And then obviously Camilla knows she's going to fire and starts working on her fire making skills. And she's sad to sort of be in this position, but also proud of herself for making it this far, and still has hope that she can sort of lock in and win fire, and she wants to pitch her game to the jury. Then we cut to Eva, who is really struggling to practice making fire, and she's getting really frustrated and feeling the pressure of everything, which I can totally understand, especially like as the day goes on and like as it starts getting even darker and darker, and you're like, oh my god, I literally, like, there is a time limit on this activity, and I need to figure this out. I would also be feeling so stressed.
If you think about it, what's scary too for Eva is that this is basically the first time in 4 episodes, not 4, sorry, since episode 5 that she's been at risk to go home.
That is so true.
So think about it, that it's been almost 6, 7, 8 episodes. 6, 7, 8. Wait, no, it's 7, 8, 9. Damn. If you think, it's been like a long time. It's been weeks since she's actually been at risk, like with no safety net. So I can understand this being a very scary moment for her.
Yeah. Imagine how everyone else felt the rest of the time. Like,
said, Eva, no. Now imagine you felt like this every single week, every single episode. Like, imagine
and we
that
didn't
feeling.
have a cushion. Yeah, but anyways, then Eva is just like really having a moment of really not able to sort of, you know, get herself together and like make this fire, and which I totally understand. And so Joe goes to check on Eva, and Kyle is really worried about how she's doing and about sort of putting her in this position to send her to fire. And so he's even contemplating, you know, putting himself into make fire, go head to head with Camilla.
I literally started having heart palpitations. I said, oh my God, please do not do this. Don't do this, Kyle.
That's so different from me, who I was like, yes, do it, Kyle. Do it,
Okay,
Kyle.
so at this point, I'm watching the episode, and I'm like, okay, ego, I want Kyle to win. Like, I want Kyle to win, so then I have the clout that he won. But ultimately, I was like, I want Camilla to win. So I was like, don't both of you go up again and do it, because then that like is gonna only leave you one. Like, there is a chance if it's just Camilla and Joe or Camilla and Eva that at least Camilla might make it through.
Yeah.
But he said that, and I said, oh my God, Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. Please.
So then Joe is really great at calming Eva down, and they're talking, and Joe's like, you know what, I'll step in and do fire. And Eva is like, no, I need to be the one to do this. Like, I'm in this position. Please let me just do it for myself.
Which I get. I thought that was valid.
I thought that was really good of her. But then I was laughing. I was like, yes, fireman teaching someone how to make a fire.
I always think it's funny when there's a fireman that has to be like, this is how you make fire. I think it's silly.
Yeah, so it turns out he's pretty good at it. Cut then to Camilla, who is really struggling to build a fire, but then starts sort of, you know, talking to herself, being like, hey, let's think about this logically. I'm not doing this part well, so maybe I need to do more magnesium or whatever. And she starts to, I don't know, get more confident in it. And this brings us to Final Tribal Council. So,
Word.
or I guess like
Final four fire making, yeah.
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 Basically, they start talking about the immunity challenge and Kyle's win, and we finally hear from Kyle the final decision to bring Joe to the end, sending Camilla and Eva to fire. And Camilla just makes a little comment. She's like, yeah, it's best we don't sit next to each other in the end for each other's games. And the jury looks at each other like, huh?
What's that about?
What does that mean? And they then start making fire. And I put in parentheses, hee hee.
Wait, that's a good name for a podcast. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Write that down.
Eva, at this point, Eva locks in. And she starts a big fire going pretty fast. It is burning big and hot. And it goes down for a second, which is a bit stressful for her. But ultimately, it burns through the rope, winning her spot in the final three before Camilla can even really get a fire going at all.
I do have to say there's a moment from Eva that truly is so me-coded. When her fire starts going down and she's like, what is wrong? Why is it not working? Like, that is so me-coded. I saw myself in that scene.
Yeah.
Why is it going down? Why is it going down?
And I am just, please God, let Camilla be on season 50. Please. God, if you can hear me.
Are you there, God?
Yeah. And basically our final words from Camilla are about her personal growth and how proud of herself she is. And then we also get a lot of Eva talking.
We do get a lot of Eva talking.
I'm like, I'm about to hear a lot out of Eva. I kind of want this to be about Camilla.
Right. I wrote that, I'm so sorry. We are Camilla. One more final Camilla before we go. Camilla fans. But I said Camilla girl. I do have to laugh. I want to be supportive, and I'm sure that is a moment that you've come to, like, something you're thinking about as you lay in bed at night. Like, I'm sure this is haunting you, so I'm not gonna like rub it in too much.
Yeah.
But I have to laugh just a little bit. That was insane. And I thought when Eva won, I said, oh my God, we have our zero vote finalist work.
I also thought that.
We'll get to it. We are about to get to it. She shocked me a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
I mean, good for Eva. I think my problem with Eva winning Fire, besides Camilla obviously like not being in the final 3 then, is just like, oh great. Like I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Eva.
Right.
Not about her at all. But it's just like, again this season, watching this alliance and these specific people come out on top is just like, man, the little guy just cannot catch a break.
A little guy.
Like, of course it is these final 3.
Yeah.
Out of everyone.
It felt like at one point Jeff says, when talking about Camilla, he's like, in the middle of $1 million fire making challenge, Camilla is cheering on Eva. That sums up Survivor 48. And I went, yeah, it does that. Yeah. Yeah. And we have different opinions on that. You're very positive about that. I'm maybe feeling a little negative, one might say. Yeah,
I'm sort of seeing it as the, shout out to Camilla, not really talking about this moment, but it is sort of the entire time everyone has just been sort of feeding and giving to this majority alliance.
Right.
To let them steamroll.
Right. That's great. That it feels, Jeff is seeing this as a positive way of like uplifting each other. I'm seeing as, why are we playing into the hands of the majority?
Yeah. Again.
Why nobody reading the Sunrise of the Sunrise on the Reaping? I'll send out copies to all 18 people. Like, I'll let y'all indulge.
I know. And Camilla, in your final moments, lifting up these people. No.
I don't think she has a moment of regret, but she definitely, when she starts crying, I can tell that she's just like, feeling it. She's like, damn, it happened. Camilla on her way out, she says that she's gonna have drinks for everybody. Vodka for Joe, tequila, mind you, I don't know if Kyle said he was sober, but I don't know if he's. Vodka for Joe, tequila for Kyle, that's my man, and beer for Eva, which, honestly,
tracks.
Everything is hitting where it needs to hit, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think if this were like a, Jubilee episode and I had to match the alcohol to the person, I would have said, yep.
And plus, and I do have to say, I was going to say Mitch, a margarita for Mitch. It hit every. I said, I feel like I'm supposed to be surprised right now, and I'm not. I said, nope, this is checking every single point. Makes sense. Yep. Yeah, on her way out, and I said, oh, Camilla is about to turn up tonight. She said, I'm mixing my alcohol. IDGAF. I don't care.
Said, I'll drink for all y'all in 1 cup.
She said, pour it in. Liddy. She got everybody a cup. It's too good. So silly. I think that's a good end to Camilla's story.
I think so too.
The next morning is super exciting. Day 26. Isn't that just a hoot?
I've been waiting for this one. And again, nothing on these people as people, but I did write, this is kind of an insufferable final 3 if you really do think about it. Yeah.
And I love them. Kyle, you're my winner pick. Joe and Eva, you seem like, and Kyle too, you all seem like great, amazing people. Again, we talk shit about you, not personally.
No, but you could not have made a more boring season of Survivor.
In the grand scheme of your stories on the show, I'm like, yeah. And then we're jumping straight into it. There's really no time. We're right into our jury speak segment here, where the jury reflects on each of their games. And we start with Kyle. And we get to hear from at least everybody once. Kyle's edit is really focused on him being the strategist of this 3. Shaheen talks about he was the most strategic. He aligned with himself with the right people at the right time. Camilla says that he is a good liar and a good strategist, but he needs to be able to speak about his game. Like, he needs to be able to present his game the way that it needs to be presented. And Mitch, again, with the relationships, he's like, Kyle used his relationships to his advantage, but he needs to own being a cutthroat person. Which I think are good critiques.
Yeah. I don't feel like he gave cutthroat to me.
I don't think he did either, but I don't think in the grand scheme of what we know a cutthroat player as in Survivor, he was cutthroat. But I think in this season,
in this
Baby,
group.
blood everywhere. Baby, it was a murder on the dance floor. He was going in. Like in the context of this season, I do think he had the most bloodshed on his hands.
Yeah, they said, this man, watch your back.
And then we go into our Eva section. Eva herself, she says that she wasn't sure she was going to be able to make it through, but she has now proven to herself that she could do this. Like, she has the capabilities to succeed in this game. Mm-hmm. Mary says that Eva has been wholeheartedly trustworthy, and she's never seen a player like that. She's incredibly courageous in what she does. Cedric points out that she is a physical beast, and that needs its own respect. And Camilla says that Eva was smarter than she thinks she even gave herself credit for, and she needs to be open with her smartness. She needs to be open with her game and her knowledge. We get this little cut moment here before we get into Joe's segment that I will argue is one of the funniest moments of the season. Probably, definitely the funniest moment of the episode. But I actually laughed out loud. I thought it was so funny. Where Eva has her moment where she reveals it's the three of them at camp, and she reveals, guys, I have to tell you, I am not just a hockey player student. Like, I am currently working on my PhD. I'm an engineer for the Navy. I am one of the smartest people in the world. And
no, she does that exactly.
She doesn't say that exactly. I'm giving it for, and you know what, Eva, that's where I'm going to give you your 10s. Just you talking, I'm like, you probably are one of the smartest people ever. Like, I don't know. I don't know where you rank, like, on Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking. I feel like you're up there. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows more than me.
Well, for sure.
Okay, that wasn't necessary. She's saying this, gags Joe. Joe is sitting there gagged. He's like, I can't believe it, this girl that I've just been, like, side to side with, I had no idea. And then Kyle says, well, if we're doing secrets.
If it's truth hour.
If it's truth hour, if it's the final reckoning, if we're talking spilling tea. I was a teacher at one point in my life, but I have been a lawyer, an attorney for the last 4 years. I am practicing law. I have my JD. I'm a practicing lawyer. Joe is double gagged. He cannot believe it. He mouth agape. He's gagged. You thought Joe's paranoia was bad last episode. Now it's fucked. He's like, oh my god, I can't trust these people at all.
My perception of reality gone.
And they're laughing about it because Joe has a reaction. And the funniest part for me, Eva goes, and what are you? And he says, I'm just a fucking fire captain. That made me I actually started laughing. I had to pause. I was like, that was funny. I'm sorry, that was funny. I have to give him his 10s. That made me laugh. He's just a fucking fire captain. He
is. And he does seem so fun and funny.
I do. Get him on the pod. Joe, back the red. We love our firefighters. We love our firefighters. We love our firefighters. And you know what? Thank you for your service.
Exactly.
One time, Maddie and I were going on a trip to Washington, D.C., and we had just gotten through TSA. It was really early in the morning, and a pilot walked past us, and I looked at Maddie, and I said, I don't know what to do. Should I thank him for his service?
I forgot about this. Yes.
And also spawned oh my god, the jokes. I'm Erica Costello. And Milk on the Rocks. That was sort of that
Milk
day.
On the
that day spawned a lot of things. If you think about it now, 7 years removed, very cringy high school, but in the moment you had to be there. It was Coachella 2016. Like, it was the moment to be in.
I think of Milk on the Rocks like regularly.
Milk on the Rocks, babe.
Do you think David takes his Milk on the Rocks?
Maybe.
No,
maybe
that's too girly for him.
It's too girly for him. We'll get there. And then we get to our Joe jury segment, and he says that Joe. He says that, and this is where I'll have to dock you some points. He's like, I came in wanting to play an honorable game, and I stuck with that. That's how I knew he was about to lose. I said, girl, you can never.
You said Diva's not about to own up to anything.
No. Chrissy says that he's a stand-up guy. David says that obviously he respects the physical game, but Joe has broken a lot of promises and he needs to own his own game. And Star says that a dominant physical game is worth her vote.
Star? Oh, I miss her.
I love her. I'm
I
obsessed
checked
with
as
her.
of last night. She's not on Cameo yet.
No.
So we'll have to keep it posted. I'll check now.
That's crazy. But yeah, we end this jury segment before the final tribal council, and the jury is like, they are going to have to own our vote. What?
I think I found her.
They said we have to own our votes tonight. They want honesty, and they want there to be a fight for the win. They want bloodshed, to be frank. Mm-hmm. What's the update with Star updates?
Oh, I haven't checked on Star updates in a while.
What's the update on Star's cameo?
I think I found it. But she's not listed, like, under Survivor.
Oh.
So I had to search for Star Toomey. And I found...
How much is she charging?
35.
Oh, we're about to clock.
Which is
in
the budget.
We're about to clock in, y'all. Let's just say Star's gonna have a cameo on our next episode.
Let's just say we found her.
Let's just say we found her. Ladies and gentlemen, we found her. We gotta clock in now, but because you know the girls are about to go in on that. And
because she's not even listed. I went to Survivor, and then I sorted it by newest up there, and she's not listed. I don't know why. So...
We'll keep y'all updated with that. We'll keep y'all updated. But let's get into Final Tribal Council.
Let's.
Okay, before we talk, Eva, we've had ups and downs with Eva this episode specifically, Eva this season. I just want to give a broad. I have to give Eva her 10s.
At Final Tribal, yeah.
She did so good. I said, oh my god, Eva is about to win Survivor.
She did so good that it took one thing to just ruin it.
Right.
One little statement. But until then, I was like, oh, Joe's not fighting.
No. And Kyle's not really talking. Like, he's not really talking about his game at all and the detail he needs to be talking about it. I thought Eva was going to take it. I was like, damn, she did a great job.
I was like, there's no way this is happening.
One of the best... I stayed off of Twitter until after we were recording because I wanted to form my own opinions. I don't know what the people are saying. Honestly, I'd say that Eva gave one of the best losing Final Tribal Council performances ever. I thought she did a great job.
I did too.
Not that I didn't think she was going to do good, but I just didn't... She spun her game in a way that I was like, I didn't think you'd be able to spin it like this. Like,
right, because I was like, I don't really know what game she has to spin, to be completely honest.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what she's even going to say and how she's going to separate herself from Joe or, like, try and stand out from him. I was like, I just don't see it happening. And she did a really good job.
I think a lot of the strength of her final performance came from her talking about her personal journey on the show. And I think she did a really good job connecting to the ethos of the viewers and of the jury. Yeah. And sometimes that does... It really just depends on the jury. Sometimes that's all it takes. If you can get the emotional, like, honestly, you could say that's how Gabler won 43. Like, if you can get the emotional response of the jury, some juries really respond to that.
Kenzie, too. I think Kenzie played a good game, but I mean, really her story at Final Tribal, I feel like, is what won it for her.
Yeah, like, it takes the right jury, and if Eva had the right jury, I think she could have won heavy-handedly. So Eva, I have to give you your props. That was really good. That was like really good.
That was like really good.
But to go into more depth about everything, I want to do just a quick, because Final Tribal Council, it is exciting to watch. I think it has watered down within the last couple seasons. Maddie and I have talked about, I personally am more favorable towards a one-on-one jury questioning moment.
Like, get them standing up. Stand up. And I just this is where I think Survivor, it's not losing me, but where I'm just losing a lot of the magic of Survivor is the lack of not to bring this word up again, a cutthroat jury who is bitter and has a vengeance, or just like really wants to get a good answer out of people or like make a statement. That is gone.
And you know what? Again, I'll give Mother Chrissy her 10s.
Exactly.
I'll give her 10s.
She's the only one.
And we stay giving her 10s this season. Get more Chrissy's on Survivor. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
But it's interesting because they really suppressed her edit down. And you think that this is the type of character people have been asking for on Survivor. And she was just buried in the edit.
I know,
and
she
I think
had a lot
on
more to
purpose.
say.
I feel like you can tell she is definitely somebody that has things to say.
Yeah.
On Twitter, she's somebody that had things to say. When she got screen time, she had things to say. I just think she was buried because Survivor production doesn't want to tell these stories.
Yeah.
I think this will be interesting. I don't know who's on Survivor 50 yet, but it'll be interesting if there's a lot of old school people, how the new era edit is going to
that is
relate
a good
to
point.
old school people.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's different. These people are built different. So we'll see.
Like, imagine Chrissy on Survivor China.
No,
Oh,
right.
she would have been incredible.
Incredible. Instead of Denise,
Yeah. Yeah.
drag Denise. No, because what? That was how long ago? That was 15 years ago. Like, she would have been Courtney's age on... Not Courtney's age, but, if she would have been younger.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have been the Denise. Anyway.
No, yeah.
So Tia, let's get into some of these questions. Cedric opens up and wants to know about everybody's weaknesses, and stop me if you have anything you'd like to.
Okay, I'll jump in.
Cedric wants to know about weaknesses. Eva says it's not a weakness, but it causes weakness. Her autism. It creates pitfalls in her game, it in itself is not a weakness, but created things. So she picked an ally that helped her sort of work with it, and she thinks that it helped her be honest with everybody, and everybody in tandem was honest with her. Joe talks about him wearing his emotions on his sleeve. He thought it would be more of an issue. He decided not to minimize it and instead turn it into empathy, to use that empathy towards his advantage. And Kyle says that he has a large overconfidence, and he immediately ran that into the ground on the first day. He was too overconfident with everything going on. And
a little mention for my winner pick.
Right, your winner pick, Kevin. And he realized realizing his level of overconfidence helped him make pivots in his game. Which I think were all good answers.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody had a bad performance, I should say. I think
Joe had a great performance.
I don't think Joe had a great performance. He could have given more, but it wasn't a bad Final Tribal Council performance.
It's not like he said things that shot himself in the foot. It was more like a lack of saying.
Yes, there was a lack of substance where there have been famous Final Tribal Councils. I'm thinking of Sherry from Fans vs. Favorites 2, where she literally dug herself into a grave.
And maybe some of it is I don't want to say an overconfidence of Joe necessarily, but maybe Joe thought that his game kind of speaks for itself in a lot of ways, where I think Eva kind of doubled down and was and knew that she had to pitch herself to even have a chance. So I think maybe that also kind of plays a role in it.
That's a good point. Mitch is next, and he talks about how a lot of the votes this season were made off of deep relationships, and he wants to know how these relationships were leveraged to propel themselves further. And Eva says that going into this, she didn't think relationships in the social game were going to be important to her, but then she threw that out the window after meeting Joe, and they had a very tight relationship, and talks about how he put, and I think this is a great answer from Eva, how Joe put their relationship over his game, really propels her to being above Joe, and says that her and Joe were the strongest duo, and then we get the start of the looks between Camilla and Kyle, a little
snicker.
And then Chrissy stops her and is like, "Okay, y'all need to fight."
I love it.
She says that, she's like, "Y'all need to have some fight into you, because only one of yous is winning."
Yeah.
And we as a jury have to see what the difference is between y'all.
Yeah.
And Eva says, "Well, we can do that respectfully. I don't have to drag him through the mud to show the differences in our game." Which, sure. I mean, I think she had just, in her answer prior, she had just done it, respectfully. But I get what Chrissy's saying. And Chrissy, so me-coded. I see you, Queen, we see you.
I like how the switch up on Christy from you is crazy.
Of me?
Yes.
When did I hate Chrissy?
Wait, are you not remembering things?
No, I'm not remembering. things the way
Every
you
time
are.
she would, like, talk to Jeff or have a little something to say, you'd be like, Chrissy, shut up.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay, sue me. Get Kyle as your attorney and fucking sue me. Okay. Have I said things in the past about Chrissy? Yes. Okay. But what matters is I've turned the leaf and I'm seeing a new version. Okay.
You're appreciating her now.
I've appreciated her sometimes, but did she annoy me? Yes. Did I appreciate her sometimes while she was in the game? Yes. Specifically on the episode when she went out. I respected the fighting game.
You know what? I think maybe out of everyone besides Star necessarily, like, having someone on the podcast, I think Chrissy would be the best person to have on the podcast.
Girl, because she knows the tea. She knows what's truth.
And she says it like it is. She's not afraid to, like, ruffle some feathers.
Right.
Chrissy, trust our people will reach out to your people.
Just our people reach out to you. Don't mind anything I've said in the past about you. I forgot, which means it didn't happen, basically. So,
Exactly.
No, but your mother, you ate this. I see you. We see you for what you were trying to do. We understand what you were trying to do. We see you. We're good. No, but I think that would have been the perfect. Well, I thought that would have been the perfect time for Kyle to jump in about his relationship with Camilla, but he does not. And then this is where I was like,
I was getting worried.
I was getting worried. I was like,
why are we not
damn,
speaking
what
up?
is going on? Star's next. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Hi, beautiful trifling ass bitches." Is that what she said? Did I hear her right?
Yeah.
Hi, beautiful trifling ass bitches.
I love her.
Love her. Tabs, if you will. She wants to know, and this is where we're setting it up. She wants to know about undercover moves and secret things that you didn't tell people. Mm-hmm. And we sort of like get sidetracked here a little bit. Eva talks about her idol from Star, and then she shares her safety without power. Which is a little bit of shock. People are like, ooh, what's this? And then she talks about how she didn't need to use it. And she pushed her alliance over individualism. She never wanted to better herself over the people around her.
I think it's really good that she also didn't mention exactly how she got that.
Right.
Because I think, maybe, I think it's one thing, it's good that she phrased it as, hey, I had to go on this secret mission in the middle of the night. And not, hey, I was given this clue to it in my chit bowl after I won a reward and it was in my chit bowl.
On my placemat with my name.
Separate from everyone else. But
right.
We don't need to get into that.
We don't need to get into those dirty details. So she talks about putting her alliance over her individualism. Kyle, yet to talk about Camilla, instead talks about his incarceration and talks about how that was a moment for him and talks about his law degree, which I will say, I think this is a smart, although I do wish he had sort of gone into it talking about Camilla. I think this was smart because Eva at this point is really putting an emotional story together. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a good pull from him to be like, my story is just as emotional. Y'all just don't know about it.
Yes. I was a little bit worried when he was using this opportunity to bring it up. I was like, yes, I do think this is an important anecdote. However, I do think there are other big fish to fry at the moment.
Right.
But I'm glad he was able to still work things out.
And then we start doing a career reveal yet again.
This was where I was like, okay, this is cringe.
No, I was like, we're losing it a little bit. I said, let's get back on track. Somebody get them where they need to go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we get it. We do another career reveal. And then yet to hear about Camilla and Kyle's relationship, Mary asks them to say what they think the jury's perception of them is. Mm-hmm. Eva says that she thinks that they are Joe's plus, that she thinks, Eva thinks that they think she is Joe's +1, that she has not held her own. In actuality, she is a power player, and she has done a lot of things. And David says, okay, stop. I need you to give us exact reasons, because you could just be spewing BS right now, and we have no pinpoints. And so she says, okay, I can give you evidence. Let's talk about the Shaheen vote.
Receipts. Proof, timelines, screenshots.
And you did it at my birthday dinner. Ugh. My camera said that was too powerful of a reference to have at that moment. So Eva starts going in on the Shaheen vote, receipts, all this stuff. And she's saying it from her perspective about how she was told that Shaheen wanted to go after her and her idol, and that they big
Wait.
stretch.
He stretched across the entire bed.
Make yourself comfortable, like he works a 9 to 5.
Anyways.
Eva is like, well, I heard that Shaheen was coming after me, so I made the decision to go after him. Mm-hmm. And then Camilla says, "Un momento, por favor." That's not exactly. She said, "Well, actually, Ellen, that's not the truth."
Actually, Ellen, I did invite you to my birthday.
I did invite you to my birthday. And she says, "Kyle, I'd love to hear about this, but from your perspective."
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to go in. Kyle says, "Well, true tea. Did Shaheen throw your name out? Yes. What, blah, 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 all these things." And he just explains the whole move. He explains how I wasn't sure if Shaheen was trying to throw me under the bus or not, and I was worried about him sniffing out Camilla and I, so I needed to get rid of him. And so I used the truths. I used 2 truths and a lie. I
played a little game.
A little game. I built the story up on slight truths and then really, really built it in with the fact that he had an idol. And I used the fact that Camilla and I have been working together since day 1. That gagged. Everybody went, what? Even Eva looked at Kyle and was like what? He's like, well, Camilla and I have been working together since day 1. We are number 1 allies through and through. There was nobody else I put in this game above her than Camilla, but we just acted our asses off. Y'all didn't know. And so I used Camilla, the fact that y'all didn't know we worked together, used Camilla to lie about this idol, which really sealed the deal in, and made this whole lie to get Shaheen out, and y'all had no clue.
Yeah.
Gagged the girls. The girls were gagged, officially.
He finally came to play.
He came to play, and that's when I said, "Ooh, we're back. We're back."
Well, once he started, I was like, oh, well, once Eva teed this moment up and picked this vote, the Shaheen vote, as her thing.
Yeah.
Immediately, I was like, oh, and we have our winner.
And I love, and Camilla did Eva dirty, because Camilla said, "I just want to clarify, you think you did this by yourself?" And Eva said, yes. And then she said, "Kyle, I'd like to know your opinion on what happened."
Yeah.
Camilla did what she needed to do.
She deserves Friend of the Year for that.
So true. And that's where we go. It kind of, at that point, it's kind of feeling like Kyle kind of, well, I personally was feeling it was a little close, but I was like, okay, Kyle is now edging Eva out a little bit. Like,
I was like, there's no, in my opinion, I was like, there is truly no way he does not win at this point.
I was feeling I just felt like she had a better overall final tribal. I was like, we'll see.
Yeah.
David gets the final question.
Yeah.
The ick of my life.
Yeah.
Ick of my life. He basically, this frown, I don't think we had even talked about it. I don't know if I necessarily noticed it. I just thought that was his face. Like, I didn't know he was putting on a frown, if I'm being honest. Like, I didn't really notice he was putting on some sort of performance. David was putting on this facade of being upset, but really he was excited to be there. He was so happy for them. Mm-hmm. He does that. He says, knock, knock. And then it goes really tense. And the camera cuts. Everybody's looking at the final tribal, the finalists. And they're all like, who's there? And they look back at David. And he's like, not me.
I hate it.
And he's like, I'm so happy for you guys. He wants to know, shocker, go to the fucking Olympics. He wants to know how individual immunities help their games. Joe says that it allowed him to put himself in a power position within an alliance that got him to the end. Kyle says that at no point of the game, nobody cared about his strength. They did mention his bubble butt a couple of times throughout the game. But he won the challenges he most needed. And Eva, by winning challenges, showed that she was a big dog.
Yeah.
And she calls Chrissy old while doing this.
I know, and Maria old.
I was like, why is Maria catching strays right now? What is that about? But
that final tribal lives rent free in their heads.
This whole season's head.
Yeah.
I can't believe the impact that had. That's insane. But you know what?
Truly, the Maria shot heard around the world.
Maria, your impact is everlasting, babe. Get Maria on the pod.
I think I might be good.
The finalists get one last chance to talk about their game. Kyle's last pitch is that he has made a joke throughout the whole season. He's the most average guy you will meet. He's average in all aspects, but this game showed him that it's not averageness, it's well-roundedness, and he was able to do what he needed to do. He successfully played the middle of the road, and he got anybody out that tried to pull him out of the middle of the road. Joe says that he was viewed as a threat physically. He had huge targets throughout the season, but he was able to make it through pretty unscathed. He spends his life taking care of others, and he wants to be able to take care of his kids with this money. And then Eva says that I have to give her 10s. If it had been a different jury, I truly do I don't know. I feel like she would have sealed it. Eva says that everybody's been saying that 48 is an unprecedented season, and she would be an unprecedented winner. There's never been a player like her that's played so black and white, truth or nothing, and she is the one to represent as the winner. I thought that was good. Again, I think Eva had the best final tribal council. Had it been prepackaged to a different jury, she could have easily won.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and she could have easily won tonight, but I think she could have more heavy-handedly won on a different season.
Yeah.
We get our final votes. It ends up being a not shocker, I guess surprise. 5-3-1 vote. 5 votes for Kyle, 3 for Eva, 1 for Cedric. One for Joe from
Courtesy of Cedric.
Courtesy of Cedric.
Cedric again voting not with the grain.
I have to say, the funniest moment in my notes this episode, that we see Mary vote for Eva. Sorry, you guys, I was in a bad mood yesterday, and that's why I wrote this. Mary, okay. Mary votes for Eva. We see her vote for Eva. I said, this is my final nail in the coffin for me not liking Mary. Like, I can't with her. Mary, I don't feel that way. It was 12:30. I was so tired. I wanted to go to bed. I had a bad day. Okay, I don't feel that way about you. So I wrote that. That was my final nail in the coffin with Mary. Then later during the reunion, we get a reveal that Star was this other vote for Mary, and I wrote for Eva, and I wrote, Star, my queen, you will never do anything wrong in my eyes.
That's so witch up. It's crazy. Right, because both of them, crazy work. Like,
crazy
Eva was
work.
so rude and disrespectful to Mary.
Star and Mary, both.
But especially to Star. And Star just sees the good in everyone.
I love her.
Because for Star to not only give Eva that idol to guarantee that she made... Like, I wish Star would have pushed Eva so hard in this final tribal. But to not only, be a giver of idols, but also, to continue to support her. And then to give her a vote for $1 million. I'm like, wow.
Star really showed out. And Eva, you showed nothing but disgust for Star.
Right. I wonder how Star feels watching all of this back.
I know. I'd be a little hurt. Mary, I could understand Eva getting a couple votes. These were not the couple of people I thought were going to give Eva votes.
Definitely not those two.
But hey, get those two. Get that second place check, babe.
Do it, yeah.
Oh, it's a 5-2-1. I said 5-3. It's a 5-2-1 vote. And Kyle, so Joe gets a vote from Cedric, Eva gets a vote from Mary and Star, and Kyle gets votes from Camilla, Shaheen, Mitch, David, and of course, Mother Chrissy.
Were you mixing Christ and Chrissy?
Isn't Christy like a common name?
Oh, yeah.
Dance moms.
I thought you were...
Oh, Christ and Christy.
Right, but also like calling her mother.
Chrissy,
I was thinking like, Mother Teresa or something.
Right. Kyle wins, and I wrote in my notes, and suddenly, just like that, all the shitty things that have happened in the last 24 hours have been lifted. I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, I'm basically Jesus going on the Christ world. How did I predict that?
No, it's so impressive. I'm so happy for you.
I do have to talk about, and I will give Maddie an asterisk against this, because Maddie kind of picked Kevin, because I sort of talked a lot. I was like, oh, I'm obsessed with Kevin, and Maddie kind of picked that because in spite of me, I feel like. No?
Well, I remember I picked Kevin because in a lot of ways you and Kevin have a lot of similarities.
Right.
So in picking Kevin, it was like rooting for you.
Right.
I am truly devastated that my winner pick had to sort of dislocate his shoulder immediately and then be threatened with a medevac and then getting voted out.
Sorry, you continue. Go.
I love that we got one little showdown between our two winners or winner picks, and that I'm glad that like I had that moment where mine came out on top once, and then you got to have the whole season thing. Right. And I also feel like, I don't feel like bad about my winner pick, even though he went home like what was it, first or second? Second. I don't feel bad about that because I'm like I feel like he could have gone farther if he hadn't hurt himself in the beginning.
And I will say, Maddie and I both had a lot of confidence in Camilla in the preseason.
Yes.
I had said, because sorry not to be a man, but I said I did not think it was going to be possible for a woman to win for a fourth time in a row. I was like, I just don't see that happening in the world order. Like, it just, like, I don't think it's in the universe for a woman to win Survivor for a fourth time in a row. So I picked Kyle, but Camilla was my winner pick.
Oh, but yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, Camilla was my first pick, but I was like, I just don't see a woman winning, unfortunately, for a fourth time. So I'm going to go with Kyle.
The way I just pulled up my Survivor 48 cast assessment, and yeah, Camilla was my other pick. I still have her highlighted as my number 2.
I remember you and I were both like...
I think I was going to pick her, if not pick Kevin. Yeah. And you convinced me on Kevin, as we talked about it.
Right.
Well, you didn't convince me, but I was just like, no, this needs to happen.
Similarities are wild.
Yes.
We do have a lot of similar lived experiences, which is kind of crazy, but... Imagine if you picked Camilla and I picked Kyle. That would have been insane work.
No, that would have been so fun.
But I'm rating high. My 47th pick was Genevieve.
I know you have a
crazy streak going right now. I know my pick next season's gonna go home first. I just know it. So
no, I think mine's gonna go home first because I've sort of had 3 and 2, and now I'm sort of waiting for that one spot.
Right. Well. I guess the reunion's the reunion. I'm just going to go through my list of things here. Maddie and I are not fans of the reunion. We are live reunion truthers. But I'm just going to go through my notes. Hop in if you'd like. Kyle is taking the money home to his fiance for the wedding. That's super exciting. Star has a fun moment. Jeff says that she is iconic, basically. Is like, you are a star. Like, you are really a shining moment on this season, which is great. Jeff asks the jury how Camilla would have done had she been in the final tribal council, and Star takes her chance to say that she would have swept it up. Camilla would have cleaned house with the votes that she got. And Jeff takes this moment to say that her episode 4 acting was some of the best acting he's ever seen in his time as the host of Survivor.
Yeah.
High compliment.
She's gotta be back for 50.
25 years in, that is a high compliment. Some great performances have been on this show.
Yeah.
Jeff compares this final 4. You have the private duo and the public duo, and I think in the complete story of the season, I'm glad that the private duo won out. For just the lore of Survivor, like, I am glad for the future of the show that our secret duo won at the end of the day.
I'm so glad that the public duo did not work.
Right. Joe appreciates his relationship with Eva and talks about her advantages and talks about the night sneak. And then Shaheen and Joe are like, well, we saw that. And she was like, damn, I thought it was a little bit more than that. We get a little bit about Star on her beware advantage. And she says, I went to Joe, but he was no help. I am obsessed with Star.
I cannot wait for our cameo.
Here we go with the milk talk. Jeff is asking about the milk. And poor Steven is bringing out milk. PA Steven. And the milk gets handed out, and Camilla in the background goes, look at these grown-ass men. Derogatory. Like, not... And then... what's his name? David goes on about the masculinity and femininity of milk. And I said, why... Mind you, I was exhausted, and I said, why does this sound like the title for a liberal arts paper? And I wrote, they, them baristas and nut-free alternatives, the masculine and feminine aspects of drinking milk.
That would have ate.
I ate that. I'm so sorry, but I ate that.
Yeah.
Let me know if y'all want me to read my paper. I'll be working on it soon. I wrote Eva Autism. Eva Autism, Jeff says it was amazing. Not because... it's crazy. Eva Autism, comma, Jeff says it was amazing, not because she has it, but because she let us witness it.
Yeah.
Which is basically what he says. No shade, but that's what he says.
Should I share what the nurse said to me at the doctor?
You should.
Okay, guys, a little story time that I didn't mention a few weeks ago. I was at the doctor, just some precautionary, once in a while checkup stuff. And the nurse asked me, she's like, oh, do you have anything else fun planned today? And I said, oh, yeah, it's Survivor Wednesday. Gonna watch the show tonight. And she was telling me about how her and her husband used to be really into it, but they hadn't watched in years. But they decided to tune into an episode this season, and my guess is the episode was picked because of all the promo that went around this episode. It was really hyped up. And the nurse says, yeah, I don't really know how to explain this, but that one girl had her autism reveal moment to everyone. I fully blood being drawn. I said, do not make me laugh right now. That is the craziest way you could have phrased that. And she's like, I'm sorry, I just genuinely don't know how else I'm supposed to say it. I don't know any of their names or anything else about them. But I'm like, wow, what an episode to tune into. And that was sort of the one she watched this season.
The one in years. That's kind of crazy work.
Yeah. So
I'm
also so glad we got to witness that.
I know.
And
good.
The nurse.
She's been a great symbol for people who have autism, which great. I love that. Maybe we'll get more neurodivergent people on Survivor in the future. That would be an exciting world to enter into, Camilla says that she is going to have a lot of growth from her negative self-talk. Mitch says that he's learned to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that who knows, he might start sparking up some relationships with strangers. He might fall in love. He might meet somebody at Kyle's wedding. They do a couple superlatives, only
Kyle
two,
said,
which I thought was strange.
It's a month away. You're sure you're getting an invite?
Kyle said that. Kyle said, maybe you'll meet somebody at my wedding.
Oh, well, I fully wasn't paying attention, by the way.
Yeah. They do two superlatives. Shaheen is voted most likely to... go at it with a hater online, and Mitch is voted most likely to throw a cast party. And then we hear from Kyle. He reminisces and says that the experiences was incredible. It was everything he wanted. He's excited to represent the season.
Yeah.
We get a look at the trailer for 49. I kind of was living. Did you watch it?
Yeah, pirate theme?
Not pirate. I felt it was underwater, siren. I was ooh.
I guess
I think pirate too. Pirate too. I think it's pirate too. But I think all of that.
I love.
We haven't had a pirate season in a while. Season 7 infamously was pirate themed, so this will be fun. But that's it. That's a wrap. Sorry for the almost 2-hour episode. I wrote that I think now that the season is over, knowing that this is a Kyle story, the overarching telling of Kyle's story as a winner, I kind of get it. I don't think that the season is as bad as the lore, the community / the lore, the whatever, is trying to build. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's a 7 out of 10. I think it will go down as a nice, mediocre season of Survivor. Is that nice to say? Or what? Is that too
I was going to let you finish and then I'll talk.
Oh. I think it's going to go down as a nice, a good to mediocre season. And, I think knowing that this was Kyle's story makes the ending a little bit better. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a top 10 season for me.
Okay. Knowing that it's Kyle's season, I think it makes sense. I totally see that. I think, honestly, we've been saying for a long time that I think it's Kyle's season because there really wasn't any other story to go with. Mm-hmm. I think it truly was the most boring season of Survivor that I've watched. Actually, I'm going to say 2.5 out of 10.
It's okay to not be okay.
Yes, and I'm so excited that we're following up with a fun season.
I know. It'll be really fun, really juicy, really dramatized. Mm-hmm. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for following along this season. If you're from TikTok, if you found us on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. We're so excited to be here with y'all. Excited that y'all enjoyed watching, and we're excited to do more Survivor coverage.
We are. But also, wait, I have to say, the Survivor 49 erasure already is kind of crazy.
No, it's gonna be insane.
I hope it's a good season because, like, the buildup, all of the, like, oh, wait, Survivor, you're dirty for making everyone think that you were going to drop the season 50 cast on the finale day and then start being like, oh, actually, it's next Wednesday, BT dubs. So that's crazy, but also, like, I love that the only thing we have for season 49 is, like, this little trailer. But otherwise, all the talk
we're
is
getting
50.
all Survivor 50. I'm hoping 49 is going to be good. We have the Riz God.
I'm going to hold my mouth on that. I actually do have thoughts that I'm just going to hold in. I'm going to wait, and we're going to see what that Entertainment Weekly article has to say about the Riz God, and then I will share.
Thank you all for watching this season. This is our 4th New Era season, our 5th Survivor season, our 6th season of a reality TV show we've covered.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much for watching. We're so happy to be here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube. Follow us at Making Fire Pod on TikTok and Instagram. And join us for our Summer of Survivor Heroes vs. Villains.
I'm so grateful to have done another season.
I know.
Of Making Fire Podcast. It really is just, like, the most fun thing to do. And gives me such a good reason to, like, really watch every episode. And, like, really get into it.
And get my opinions. Like, I love sharing my thoughts.
I love having opinions.
Me too.
Well,
thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Next week for our Survivor 50 cast assessment, I guess.
Guys, I'm actually nervous. I'm going to be real. Ooh.